Hello, my name is Laura Stewart, and I will be presenting the information needs of the Cameron Peak Fire community. This fire hit close to home as the burn area is less than a 2-hour drive from where I live. The smoke was ever present during the months of August, September, and October. Even ash was falling from the sky into my neighborhood. Wearing a mask became prudent for many reasons here throughout the past few months. Even though I am not part of the Cameron Peak Fire community, my social media feeds relayed up-to-date information offering evacuation routes and livestock trailers for immediate use. I have friends who had to evacuate, and others who were put on pre-evacuation notice. My paper addressed the informational needs of a community experiencing a wildfire, specifically the Cameron Peak Fire. The informational needs for a community facing a wildfire must be broken into 3 parts of before, during, and after a wildfire event occurs. Interestingly enough, this fall semester encompassed all 3 of those parts which the Cameron Peak Fire community experienced. The informational needs change because of the differing phases a community is experiencing. The scope of what entails the informational needs of a community constantly change and evolve during a crisis. Social media has been a technological advancement of assistance during disaster situations because of the quick response time social media can provide. The Cameron Peak Fire ignited August 13, 2020 on the Arapahoe and Roosevelt National Forests near Cameron Pass and Chambers Lake. During the height of the Cameron Peak Fire, 208,913 acres were burning. But as of December 2, 2020, the fire is now 100% contained. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but pointing toward human interaction. More than 400 structures, including 42 homes, have been destroyed in this fire. Crisis informatics is defined as the study of the use of information and technology in the preparation, mitigation, response, and recovery phases of disasters and other emergencies. The literature review on the topic of the information needs of communities involved with wildfires shows how significant a crisis a wildfire can be to a community, and specifically what needs that community is going to need in order to prepare and evacuate. My discussion of the literature reviews focused on the 3 R's of readiness, resources, and resilience. 3 articles were reviewed which succinctly defined the information needs of communities preparing before, during, and after a wildfire crisis. The first literature review analyzed information gleaned from previous wildfire disasters and shows the significance of how well social media and current technology has improved the readiness and is meeting the informational needs. The second literature review expanded upon providing resources. Learning how to communicate effectively is key to providing information which saves lives. One interesting fact that emergency responders have pointed out shows that by not providing mitigation education, individuals who do stay and defend have been placed at a greater risk than necessary due to a lack of knowledge and preparedness. When evacuating, the knowledge of how to do so as safely as possible is primary. Although vegetation management around a home and increasing its ignition resistance are desirable educational activities, the fact that this behavior may also be associated with a waiting it out decision by a homeowner has become problematic. This highlights the challenge of any effort focused on encouraging homeowners to prepare their property as a means of property protection. And finally, the third article review discussed resilience, the good that can come from studying the history of natural disasters in order to apply a better understanding to future crises. The argument presented in this paper shows the informational needs of the Cameron Peak Fire community were specifically addressed by using the available current technology. The emergency responders and government officials used social media to first focus on the information needs of the Cameron Peak Fire community, and second, address those needs by communicating through Facebook, Twitter, and websites created specifically for this wildfire. Many infographics were posted on local websites explaining evacuation and showing interactive maps of the burn area. The images of the fire posted on Twitter and Facebook were very impressive, showing both the beauty and destruction of wildfires. These social media sites had some creative uses as well. For example, photos were posted of structures still standing so that those who evacuated could search for their specific home to see if it had fire damage. The social media tools providing community information meant the difference between life and death during the wildfire. Rapid response times and accurate information tremendously helped homeowners decide when and how to evacuate. Other sources providing vital information for all disasters include such organizations as the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross is synonymous with disaster relief aid and information. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention website contains the most up-to-date scientific information the government publishes. The section on wildfires offers instructions on how to prepare, stay safe during and after a wildfire. FEMA is the official website for disasters and assistance within the United States of America. This website provides historical information on previous disasters and crises, but also has a section for individuals and families to search for disaster relief funding and qualifications for funding. The qualifications for funding are pretty straightforward, and the disaster relief funding application is very user-friendly. Case studies are an excellent way to examine a previous fire and learn what went right and what went wrong during the crisis, especially from an informational needs standpoint. One of the more interesting facts I learned is how humans perceive disasters as more of a social event. We all have heard the stories of people sticking it out to save their property. Some of the stories have happy endings, while others, unfortunately, do not. A community that has already been through a wildfire crisis is much better equipped and prepared for the next crisis. The informational needs were met once before, and processes have since been improved upon. A community which sticks together through thick and thin is a community that is resilient and finds many ways to communicate, such as posting thank you banners throughout the community. Remember, communicating informational needs is an exchange, a back and forth process. Here is a video cam of one of the burn areas in the Cameron Peak fire. I have watched this video several times and am still fascinated by the way the fire jumps around, burning some areas and leaving other areas green. The firefighters call this a mosaic fire pattern. It is what helps new growth flourish after a fire. Pay special attention to the tree on the right side of the screen. Social media has become the technology that provides the most expedient information in today's world. Not only can real-time information now be communicated through websites and other social media applications, but emergency personnel are using technology to keep homeowners safer and more informed. Process improvement is best learned from what went wrong in previous experiences. Each time a crisis occurs, the knowledge gained must be applied to better assist the emergency personnel in charge with saving future lives. As Winston Churchill is attributed to quoting, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." Disaster readiness is about social change supporting crisis informatics, knowing what information a community needs during a crisis and then providing it. It's what librarians do. Thank you for watching, and especially thank you to my daughter for helping me with the technological portions.